Hey there, Soul Shines. My name is Michelle, and it's a tutorial day. We are actually going to be making cell phone cases. I have it strapped around my body. I'm going to put a picture in. I'm wearing my Halloween shirt that you'll see. It's an awesome grandma, I think. It's my awesome grandma costume. And because it's October, it's pretty simple. It might be a little confusing for beginners, but I believe that you can do it. I would call it an advanced beginner. You can do it completely with knowing the chain stitch and the half double crochet. I do actually use a single crochet at the end, but you don't need to. You could sew it. I used a single crochet around here to sew it closed, but you could totally just sew it closed. So you need to know how to do those stitches. I will have all kinds of stitches linked in the iCards just so you know, but I also point them out later. And yeah, lots of this going on. It's been a week. It's been a few weeks. It's been a hard couple months. September was really hard. I spent so much time sick. So please forgive me for things being late. Hopefully I have this up on Monday, but if not, it will be on Tuesday morning. Usually my plan is to have my videos up at 8 a.m. Mountain Time on Monday mornings, but this is Monday afternoon and I'm finally done recording so I can edit. So anyway, yeah. Let's move over to the creation station and let's get started. So I have here a ball of yarn that is not wound in my favorite way. If you would like to know how to do a center pull yarn ball, check out the iCards. I'll leave a link. This is just a worsted weight, just an acrylic, but pretty much you could use whatever kind of yarn you wanted, whatever size you wanted. It would just change how many of everything you did. It would change your hook size. You could use, a really fine yarn and use smaller hooks. You could use, I suppose you could use a chunkier yarn if you like a bulkier look. So just different ideas, but I'm just using, I'm not sure if this is like a red heart or if it's, I love this yarn. But it's just your average acrylic yarn. I will apologize. I'm going to try to edit out as much of my dog as I can. But he had surgery a week ago, and so he's very whiny right now. I'm going to just set this over here out of the way so that I can have the yarn. I'm just using an H hook today. It's kind of my favorite hook for using with this unless I have a project that I need a bigger hook on. Just personal preference. I don't like having my yarn on this side when I'm crocheting. I prefer it to be on this side because I hold the yarn. I just did a knitting thing. That was funny. But I hold the yarn in this hand for crocheting. So I prefer it to come off of here. But my table's over here, so we're going to do this weird. It's going to loop under the table and come up. Stitches that you will need. We're going to start with a chain stitch, and I will leave the link for that up here in the iCard as well. We are actually going to be doing a half double crochet corner to corner. If you know how to do the chain stitch and you know how to do the half double crochet, then you can do this. Just might take you a little bit of patience until you get the hang of it. For the half double crochet, I do have a tutorial that I'll also link up in the iCard. We are going to be making a phone case. So I have my phone. It's kind of going to be like a bag for when I'm wearing pants that don't have pockets. And so I'm going to use my phone to measure. Okay, wait, where's my microphone? It's probably covered. Okay, I have I'm trying a different angle now, because I realized a lot of what I was doing you cannot actually see. So I'm doing a new angle in hopes that you will be able to see it. So I'm going to do my slip knot, chain 4. Okay, I'm going to do my half double crochet in the 3rd chain from the hook. 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to go in right here, and then I will just have one more at the end. Half double crochet and a half double crochet. Okay, and then that is my little square. I'm going to I'm actually going to try turning my work and see if that makes it a little bit easier. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'm going to half double crochet in the 3rd chain from the hook, half double crochet in the 3rd chain from the hook. And I do think that when you turn your work first, it actually does make it easier to see. So when we attach up here, we've got the chain from the beginning that we're actually going to go in right in the little, if you kind of pull it out, there's a space. We're going to go right in there, and that's where we're going to attach. And then we're going to pull that all the way through with a slip knot, and then we're going to chain 2. And then we're going to do our half double crochet in that same space right underneath those chains. We're going to do a half double crochet in there, and then we're going to do a half double crochet in that same place again. Okay, and so we end up with this little, let me move my hands away. Hopefully I can also mess with the lighting a little bit, because my hands look so blown out and so white. I'm hoping I can fix the lighting. Anyway, so we're at the end. There's no more things here, so we're going to chain 4. Oops. I'm going to get myself in a new habit. We're going to turn our work, then chain 4. Okay, and then we're going to do a half double crochet. Now here's another thing. When you can count here 1, 2, 3 and go in here, or you know that this is the last one and this is the second to last one, and you want to go into that second to the last one. It's a little easier to see than counting back from 3 chains, but it's the same chain. It's just easier to see when you count back from where you're doing. Okay, so you've done your 2 half double crochets, 1 in each of those chains. Now when you come up here, you've got your chain right there on the top of that. So you're going to go in underneath your chain, and you're going to pull it all the way through like a slip knot. Chain 2. You're going to do your 2 half double crochets right there underneath the chain. Okay, and then we've got another block here, so we're going to go in underneath that chain again. And we're going to do 2 and 2 half double crochets underneath the chain. And we're at the end, so we're going to turn our work, chain 4. And then go in here again, the second. So I could try to explain this a little better. If I count 3rd chain from the hook, I go 1, 2, 3. And I get right there, and then I have one more chain before I get to my work. Or I can count that 1 chain there, and I can quickly see that's where I want my half double crochet. It's the same thing, 1, 2, 3, or 1 back from here, 2 back from here. I hope that makes more sense. And I'm going to go in there, and it's just really easy to eyeball that one. I know exactly where to go. So I'm going to put my half double crochet in there, half double crochet in the next one. And then it's really easy to see that I need to go under there. So I today taught myself that the way to know where to go, the trick, if you will, to a corner to corner is to turn your work before you do your chains. And so you just keep going, And I am going to finish this, and then I'm going to leave this here and go edit my stuff, put this in here, so that if I need to come back and do some more from this angle, I can do a little mixture. So you're going to get a mixture of this, and I'm going to see how I like this angle. Maybe try out different fabrics over my lap. If that works, we'll see. Try to figure this out, trying to get some good solutions so that you guys can actually see what I'm doing. So the rows are kind of, they're kind of working this way, like they're getting bigger. They're stair stepping up, but it's kind of like it's almost working on a diagonal going this way as it stair steps around. So we're going to keep doing this, and there are two things that we have to consider as we're going. And this is where our phone comes in handy. We need to have one side be as tall as our phone. The other side needs to not only go in front, but it needs to have space that it can cover the thickness here, which for me looks like I probably need the equivalent of one square on the sides. Going across here, and needs the square on this side, so it looks like I've got a couple more squares and then a square for turning, and then I need to go all the way across so this will wrap around. We'll see a little better when we get closer. So we've talked about that. I'm going to keep going until I get to one of the sizes, whether I don't know which one's going to come first, because they're probably about the same, give or take a few squares. So I'm going to go till it either gets tall enough or all the way around, and then I'll show you what's next. Okay, I'm not sure where I'm at here. So I want to keep some space for it to come over. I definitely need at least one more square this way. I want to have a little bit of space so that when I connect it at the bottom, it's long enough. But as you can see there, I could go another row and it'd probably be okay, because of the way I'm going to design the front of my case. But depending on what you're doing, you need to decide, do you want it to be so that the edge of your phone sticks out so you can quickly grab it, or do you want it to be covered up? So those are some things to think about. I think I'm going to do one more. I think I'm just going to go ahead and go up high. Do one more, make this square. Alright, now I've got my triangle again. I'm going to put my phone here. I have just a little bit of an edge there. That comes here. Like I said, you might decide that you don't want that row. That's okay. Then this would wrap around, and it would definitely work. It might be a little snug, but that's the thing, is this does have some stretch, quite a bit of stretch, so it probably will be fine. If it seems like you're really having to stretch it, definitely go another square. But I think mine is going, I think this is probably going to be good for me. I'm going to actually go this way because I want to see a little better. Even though my seam's going to be on the side, I feel like if I pulling it over a little bit lets me really see that yes, those do actually meet, whereas over here it was kind of awkward to actually see what was going on. So that's good size. So I've got my length for my bottom of my phone and my length for my top of my phone. So now, instead of chaining 4, I'm going to turn my work and I'm going to slip stitch as best as I can back across the top of these. So, for my phone case, I actually ended up needing a square, but you could do a rectangle. So I kind of want to show you both how to do the stitches to make it into a square and how to do the stitches to make it into a rectangle. So instead of chaining 4 here, I'm going to turn my work and I'm going to slip stitch. I don't know if I can make this visible very well. I'm going to slip stitch into my stitch that I came out of. I'm going to slip stitch into the next stitch. Oops, I didn't go into the stitch. Into the next stitch. And then I'm going to slip stitch under the chain. Oops. Unless my yarn wants to catch on itself, and then we have problems. Now if you don't want to keep slip stitching, there's a couple ways you could do this. You could just, you could slip stitch into your stitch you came out of, slip stitch into the next one, and instead of going into the chain like I do, you could just chain 2, and that would still work. And then you're going to do your half double crochets in there just like you normally would. And as you can see, now we've got this edge, instead of making another square, it's squaring it off there. And so then you can hook in underneath, keep going on your row, chain 2, half double crochet, and half double crochet, slip under again, do another slip stitch, chain 2, 2 half double crochets, and another slip stitch. And now you have a choice. Are you making a square or are you making a rectangle? If you are making a square, what you would do is you would turn your work here. You would not do anything with this last one, because as you can see, we've got 2 here, we've got 2 here. So that would make it a square, so we would turn back around and slip stitch. However, if we want to make it a rectangle, we'll keep going. I was interrupted, and then I forgot to check my angle, so I have had to redo this. So I've come back to here. There is a third way that I didn't show on how you can do the slip knots, and that's picking one of these to go in. Slip knot? No. Slip stitches. And then instead of doing in the next one and chaining 2, you can go into the thing. So there's 3 ways. You can slip stitch in the first one, slip stitch in the second stitch, and then you can slip stitch in there and then chain 2. You can slip stitch in the first one, slip stitch in the second stitch, and then just chain 2. And you can slip stitch in the first one or the second one, it doesn't really matter. You can slip stitch in one of them, whichever one's easiest. Sorry, I gotta fix this. It's kind of beginning to fray because there's been so many stitches going in and out of it. Okay, so then you can slip stitch into the first one or into the second one, and then slip stitch in underneath your chains, and then you're ready to chain 2. So those are the 3 ways that you can do it. I know I only showed you 2, and then I got interrupted and then it came back. So you're gonna do your 2 half double crochets in here. It's so crazy how off my brain can get when I get interrupted. Okay, so we've got now 2 squares going up, and I'm going to work across. And so instead of getting bigger, that side is now kind of stayed the same. And when I get to the other side here, I have a choice to make. So the question now is, am I making a square? If I'm making a square, then I'm going to do my slip stitch here, and then I'm going to turn around and I'm going to slip stitch however I want to do it, 1 and across or 1 and underneath the thing, chain 2, and then I'm going to work my way back here, and then it's getting smaller and becomes a square. I want to show you if you make it a rectangle, so I'm going to do a couple of rows more, making this one a little bit taller, so that you can see it look like a rectangle. So I'm going to make my last loop here, and turn my work, chain 4, just like before. And I'm going to work all the way over back to the other side. This time, instead of getting bigger, it's having the same amount of squares across the row. In order to make it a rectangle, I need 1 more. Okay, and when I get it hooked across the top, I'm going to turn it, and then I'm going to slip stitch however many I want, whichever slip stitch way I want, back over here, and chain 2, and then I'm going to work my way back. So this side, I'll show you in a second. So this side is just getting, this is being squared off, where this side is continuing to grow. Which is why it's a rectangle, not a square. Oh. If you want a square, you have to reduce both sides at the same time. Now, depending on how long I wanted this, I could either keep going and make another row, or I could turn it back around and I can do my slip stitches over to the side, chain 2, and now I'm actually making my rows smaller because both sides are getting reduced. So before we were growing each row, now we are shrinking each row. And when we were reducing only one side, we were keeping them the same. When you count half double crochets, count corners, you actually count your, this was 2 squares, you count the points. It's the easiest way to count how many is on each row. But counting didn't matter in this video, so I didn't say anything about that until now. And now I have my last square. So I'm going to finish my last square, and I would end that off, and I would have myself a little miniature rectangle. So the basic idea is that you keep working out until you get one of your sides as long as you want to get it. I apologize for the dog in the background. I'm thinking people have food. So you make one of the sides as long as you want to get it, and then you can start shortening it. You make the other side as long as you want to get it, and you start shortening it. Depending on if you wanted a square or a rectangle to when and how you shorten it. But that is basically how you finish the corner to corner. So now we're going to go back to the tutorial for the phone case so you can see some options you have for design choices. Because mine is square, it doesn't matter which side's which. So one of the things that I like to do, hold on, is I like the look of this edge. So for me, my design choice is not to make this to be a square. Your design choice may be to make your square a rectangle, to make the whole thing, and then you'll fold it over and you'll do your seams. For myself, what I'm going to do is I will put this here and I will work up till this gets over to here, and then I will have this edge across, and I'll show you more when we get there. Because I just think that's really pretty. My phone can slide in and out really easy. Like about 3 more rows before I move on to the next step. Okay, see you in 3 more rows. Okay, when I get over here, I stretch it around. I see that I want to do one more row because I want the whole back corner here. So I have one more corner right there to fill in. So I'm going to do one more row. Okay, so I've got my one more row, and as you can see, my whole phone back is covered there. So then I'm going to wrap this around as if it was going to, it's going to get a seam right there. It's a little bit snug, but I think it will be okay. And I don't want to redo it. Then I get to ask myself, do I feel like this goes high enough? Do I want to do one more row down so that this kind of just is a little higher and starts coming down here? Or do I think that's good? And I think I'm going to do one more row because I think I want it to kind of come around the corner and down so that less is exposed. And honestly, I would do this with every one I made. I did this one. I made this for my friend. Kind of played around with what I liked. If I wanted it to go more or not more. And it could depend on the kind of case you have. If you have yours in a shockproof case, maybe you don't care as much about protection. Maybe you don't like the aesthetics of it and you really do want to have a whole square. Totally okay. See, and now it kind of feels a little more decorative to have that going down there. You could completely end this off and be done. You could start your strap here and then sew it up later. The ways that you could sew it, you could just do like a whip stitch or a, what is it called, a mattress stitch. There's also another one, I can't remember what it's called. So there's different ways that you could sew it by hand. I'm actually going to do a single crochet. But I just want to let you know that you could end this off, sew it together, and create some kind of strap. You could start your strap from here and go, actually, I think I need to start my strap. I think that's what I'm going to do. I think I would prefer to have it start and then go from there. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to teach you the way that I'm going to do the strap for this. And I'm going to do I want my strap to be? On the back. Okay. For the strap, you could end it and get like a chain and do a chain wrap around. You could, sew it together and then put a loop on the back for like a belt loop. You could do something that would have ties that you wrapped around your waist. I'm going to do it long enough to do a crossbody. You could do where you just do like a chain all the way around. For me, that sounds like it would be too thin and would bite into my shoulder with the weight of the phone in there. But maybe that's enough for you. You could do a chain to the length that you want and then come back doing double crochets. So like if you say you did a chain for a while, I need it a little bit bigger. And then you could come back doing half double crochets, since this is mostly half double crochets, or double crochets or single crochets, and you would just come back and come into, let's do half double crochets, come back into the third chain from the hook. Obviously your chain would be bigger. It would be long enough to go around your neck or wherever you wanted it. And then you could do your half double crochets down, back down to the start. And then what I would do is attach it over here at the other side of my thing. Do a slip stitch to attach it there. So tie it all off. Obviously you would want to tie it in on the other side as well. So that's one option. Lots of options. So many options. But I'm going to teach you my way. Which might be a little bit challenging for some of you if you're beginners, but I think it will be okay. And if, like I said, if you don't want to do it, you can do a very long chain and either attach it here and then single crochet or half double crochet back and then do the attachings. And if you were to attach it, you would be like, hook it in here, and then, how would I do that? Let's say that this was long enough to go to the other side of the purse and be around your neck. And then I would attach it one side or another of this little column of stitches. And then just like that. And then I would do, if it was single crochets, I would just go in and attach it again so that I was up higher doing a slip knot, and then I'd work my way back down doing single crochets back around to the beginning. If it was half double crochets, I would do 2 slip stitches over to the corner, and then I would turn my work, do my loop over as if I was going to do a half double crochet, do my half double crochets back down the chain until I got to the end. And as you can see, that's kind of making a strap. So that's one way to do a strap. I want to continue my corner to corner pattern. So I'm here in my chain, under the chain, I'm going to chain 2. And I'm going to go in and do my 2 half double crochets. So it looks like I've gone bigger. And then I'm going to chain 4 And I'm going to come in and do it in the half double crochet in, just like I was doing before over here. I'm going to turn it so I can attach it in there. Okay, then I'm going to turn this and single crochet, or not single crochet, slip stitch to the end, and then I'm going to once again chain 4. And I'm going to half double crochet in the third chain from the hook. Make sure that my make sure I can attach in there and then turn it and slip stitch back. So it's kind of it gets into a rhythm after a while because you're going back and forth, but then it just kind of does that same pattern of some of the stitches look this way and some this way and this way and this way. For me, it feels like a rhythm that to complete a whole set is to do 2 of these. So the first one, chain 4, slip stitch in, or half double crochet in the third chains from the hook, and then make sure that this is turned up. So that's the first section of it, because like I said, to me it's all kind of working, the 2 sections together counts as one. That's kind of how my brain looks at it. So I'm going to do my slip stitching back into my little chain thingy there, and then chain 2 so I can work my half double crochets in the chains. And then I feel like it's complete because it's like a 2 row, 2 round, 2 row kind of repeat thing. It's like 2 squares is the repeat, and then it keeps repeating. So you keep doing that until it gets long enough to attach it the other side. And I will actually be putting this away because I need to go to bed, but I'm going to work on this until I'm ready to attach it to the other side. One thing I could have done is if I would have wanted my strap to actually bend on the front and kind of done a diagonal to this one, I could have actually done my instead of coming this direction and using this one, I could have actually used this one to do my strap over, but I chose this one. Okay, see you guys tomorrow. It'll be like seconds for you. Well, it's not the next day. I'm back. I have made a very long strap because, like I said, I wanted to do a cross body. Because I'm making it for myself, I just kind of measured it. If I was making it for somebody else, if they knew about it, I would ask and measure with them. If they did not know about it, then I would probably do a little bit of Googling about how long a strap normally is for a crossbody. One thing is, if they make it too long, if you make it too long, they could, you know, kind of just do a little tie and that would shorten it. So that's one option. There are things that you could get to put on it, just like a regular purse has the little slide things that you can buy those at craft stores, sewing supply stores. You would want to kind of have it, you know, do some measuring. There's ways to do that you could make it so it's a slide thing. I'm not going to do that with this particular item, but I wanted to let you know the option was available if you wanted to look into it. One of my favorite things about crochet, if I haven't already said it, is that when you learn an incredible pattern, you can make changes to it. You can experiment with things. You can just try it, and if you don't like it, you undo it. And so that, I'm pretty sure that's how most patterns are discovered, is somebody just plays around with different ideas, and maybe they were played around with a long time ago, but now we just keep going. And I'm amazed because I've been crocheting for about 40, 41, 42 years. Like, I've been crocheting for a long time, and I still learn new things. I'm like, wow, I never thought of that kind of stitch. I would have never thought to do that, just because it never came across to my thing. Like, corner to corners, that's fairly new information for me. I remember when my granddaughter was a baby, they had somebody else had given my daughter-in-law an Afghan. I was like, I have no clue how they did it, because it was double crochet, so it was really obvious to see that stitches were going in different directions, and I'm like, I have no clue how they did it. Then I learned that it was corner to corner. I learned how to do it, and I made another Afghan for my granddaughter. My granddaughter's 4 years old. That's how recent it has been that I learned about this concept of corner to corner crochet. So you can learn new things all the time. Anyway, with all that said, let's talk about what we got here. I do want to kind of straighten it out a little bit. I don't want my strap to be all twisty, so I want to undo it, make sure that it's not going to twist funny. You know, I might want it to twist, or have a kind of twist, so that it goes down like this. Just makes it easier going over the shoulder. So I do like that, like, so it would go kind of like that over. Just makes it a little easier. That's the one thing that I would want to have, versus going like this, because then, I mean, it's doable, but it's just makes more sense to me to do it this way. Okay, so that's one thing. The ways that you can attach this: you could bind off and sew it on. And then you would fold this in half. You do your sewing down here, you're sewing across the bottom, and you would be done. Tie in your ends, whatever. That's one way you could do it. I like the idea of making it kind of blend in. So I would look at, and if you can see here, I'm going to try and zoom in with my editing so you can see this. These ones here, the stitches go this direction, and these ones go this direction. I want my stitches here to go the long way, because I ended this one on the sideways. So this is horizontal, so I want mine to go perpendicular up here. I want them to do that. So right now, the direction I have this would actually be perfect. If you look at my stitches, this one here is going this way. Maybe I'm not, yeah. And then this one here is going this way. And it is a little bit of a challenge to see, because these are so small. This is a little bit easier because you have them kind of all next to each other. These are just in a big line, but I can see, okay, these ones are going this way, this one's going this way. And if this is too hard for you to figure out, just attach it. Either tie it off or do what I'm going to teach you. I'm going to do one more, and I'm going to kind of show you how to attach it right here, in case this is what your corner one looks like, because I want you to be able to see that. Actually, I'm going to use this corner here and pretend that I was going to attach to here, because this corner is that way. Huh. Okay, so right now, if I put those two corners together, these are going tall and these are going tall, and I would want my one to be horizontal. So I'm going to take a minute and do one more square so that I'm horizontal, but I'm going to do something different. I figured this all out, and then that was 2 or 3 days ago. Let me refigure this out, and then I will edit out this section. So I'm going to chain 2. I'm going to attach it on whichever corner makes sense to me, and I'm just going to attach it right here. I'm going to actually do a slip stitch across the case part, not the strap part. So I'm going to do a couple slip stitches so that it looks a little bit like this. I promise it will work out. Okay, I'm going to turn this all around so that I'm going to do my half double crochet down into here. This would be like we're working back towards this on a chain. I'm going to do my half double crochet here, another half double crochet right here, and my next chain. And then I'm ready to attach it here at the top just like I was doing normal, and then I would end it off, and that is now attached. Let me get my strings out of the way. And so this one's going this way. There is a little bit of a ridge here, but on this side you can't even see that, and nobody will notice anyway, but it does kind of keep the pattern going. Okay, so that's how you would do it if you needed to attach to where the lines or your stitches are going vertical, so that you're making a horizontal stitch that goes next to it. Please rewind if you need to see that again. Okay, I'm going to undo this. So I need to attach mine right here, and my stitches right here are actually going horizontal. These ones are going vertical, these ones are going horizontal, so I actually need vertical stitches here, which is what I ended with right here. So I'm going to double check that my I feel like I have strings everywhere. Okay, I'm going to double check that my my strap is going the right way. Okay. So it looks like in order to really attach it properly, I want to attach it to this side. That's something I didn't do when I was showing how to attach it over here, was you want to make sure, and that will help you know which side you actually want to attach it to, is how when it comes across, this is on this side, so I want to attach it here. This is going to be a little unique. I'm going to do a whole nother set because before I do this one, I need to not have done that square yet. So I did my first one. I'm going to turn this and do my slip stitches up to the corner. Okay, I'm going to chain 2, and then I'm going to once again make sure that I'm not twisted, because I did a lot of weird stuff right through there. Okay, so I've chained 2, and now I'm going to attach it to my corner over here. I'm going to attach it kind of backwards, so I'm going to bring my yarn to the front. I'm going to stick my yarn through and pull it through that way, so it seems kind of backwards, but then I will be in position to do it again. Let's do the attachment again, so it's more clear. I'm going to chain 2. I'm going to bring my yarn to the front. I'm going to stick it in from the back. I'm going to pull it through and all the way through like that. I'm going to start my half double crochet just like I would normally do. and I'm going to pull it all the way through. I'm going to bring my yarn to the front, and I'm going to go through again and pull it through. I'm going to do my last half double crochet all the way. I'm going to bring my yarn to the front again and go in again and pull it through. Maybe. Let's do that again. Yarn in front, go in from the back, pull it through. It's going to come up between our front yarn and this yarn, so it's going to come in between and then all the way through. So if I'm catching on something. Okay. And then I'm actually going to fasten off, but for some reason I don't have scissors with me at the second, so I will kind of show you how that looks. Just kind of blends in just like normal. Even though we did a weird thing, this actually blends in way much better, way nicer than the other one blended in. Except for this looks funny here. So I think I'm going to go back because this looks weird. So I'm going to try that again. Chain 2. This is where we do our attaching. Bring it in front. Go through, and it's going to come up behind that and all the way through. Okay. Right before I get too far. Oh, see, this is what's happening right now, because if I were to just attach this, because I forgot to check it again, I've got some, if I just pull these straight together, I've got a weird twist here. Silliness. I think part of my problem is I've heard my tummy growl, and I'm starting to get hungry, and I don't want to get angry. So I'm distracting myself again, but I'm like, I'm finally recording again. I don't want to stop. Okay, so I'm gonna make sure my strap isn't twisted. I just figured out that this makes sense now, but I hadn't even registered it. Definitely check where your stitches line up, because they switch back and forth. Because as I'm lining up my strap now my my stuff is on the inside. Good to know. Okay, chain 2. Again, I'm going to attach it. Okay, so I'm going to have to turn, because I have to turn everything, I have to turn the whole thing. Still going to bring it in front. Still going to go behind and all the way through. I'm going to do my half double crochet. Then I'm going to attach it. Bring my yarn to the front, go in. It's just a matter of how you have to hold it. So I apologize if some things are weird. Okay. Now I will do that because I'm going to cut that off in a minute. Okay, that's my thing. And actually, I'm not going to cut that off. I just remembered. I could cut it off and weave in the ends, but that's not what I'm going to do. I was not happy with the way I was demonstrating how to attach the strap. So, one of the things that I learned was, like, if I'm right now, this strap would come over and it's on the inside. But sometimes when you come around, it's on the outside, because this like flips back and forth. If you can see, I don't know how you can see, these ones go vertical, and these ones here go horizontal. So this corner is a horizontal corner. On my strap, as I come around, I'm going to pull, oops, let me pull my yarn so it doesn't get lost. Pull that out a little ways. Okay, move this over out of the way. This is, there's horizontal, vertical, horizontal. So right now if I were to attach these, it would be horizontal and horizontal. So I need a vertical in between. So I'm going to actually turn this over this way because I want, this is one of the things I didn't say, I want always to be working on with my hook to the right of my strap as I'm attaching it. If you were trying to do this left-handed, you would be flipping it around, but I don't know how to teach you how to do that. So I'm going to chain 2. Normally we have our yarn behind. We're going to bring it to the front. We are going to attach in from the back here at the corner of our last little square here. Okay, we're going to pull it through all of it. Okay, I'm going to do my half double crochet just like normal into the top of those chains. But the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull my yarn to the front. And I don't usually have to let go, but I feel like I'm in an awkward position right now. I'm going to come in again. Might be easier. I'm going to come in from the back. It's hard to sometimes demonstrate, and things are just awkward. So I'm going to pull it all the way through. Again, if I can get it all the way through. Caught something. I'm going to do one last half double crochet in underneath those chains. Just that. This side feels like normal. It's the attaching side that feels weird. So I'm going to go again all the way through, and then I don't know, got weird twisting there. Sorry about that. My yarn did weird splits. Okay. Pull my thread to the front and once again come in from the back into the under the chains on that side and pull it all the way through and out, and then I would tie it off, and there it's attached. On one side it looks perfectly normal. On the other side, it looks perfectly normal. I actually really enjoy doing this one because it looks like you can't really tell. This is going to attach with, this time I'm at the corner, because what I need it to do is where the yarn is coming out on my strap needs to be to my right. So I'm going to attach it here to this corner here. In order to do this, this is the one where we normally would chain 4. And so I'm going to chain 2. I do half of that. Okay. This is kind of awkward because it's such a small thing. And I had to get up and take care of the dog. Okay, I'm just going to attach it here at the corner, and then I'm actually going to slip stitch across the edge of the not the strap, but of the phone case part, so that when I turn it this way, I'm at a height of a half double crochet. So I'm going to turn it this way. I'm going to loop it over to do a half double crochet, and then I'm going to, in these chains that I have here, 2 chains, so I'm going to do a half double crochet in one of the chains, and then I'm going to, again, this yarn, this is not great yarn, keeps catching and stuff. Again, half double crochet in the first chain, half double crochet in the second chain, and then I'm just going to attach it like I would have always done in the top over here, and then I would end off there and it's attached. And if you feel it, you can feel that there is a ridge because of going across with the slip stitches, but you can't see it. So now if I come around to attach it over here, my attachment place is here in the corner. And again, the thing that I've got to remember to do is keep my, so that I'm working across from the right to the left across the strap. That's the most important part to remember, is that you're working from the right to the left across the strap. However you have to turn this part to get it working right is what you need to do, because our main concern is that we are working across the strap this way. And then I adjust this, so like if I were to try and do it this way, I would be going from the center across, but then if I just went this way and I was trying to figure it out, I'm like, what's going on? How come that's not working? It's because I've got my loop and my hook on the wrong side, so I would have to flip everything over so that I was now working, sorry, my yarn has to flip too, working with the hook and the loop and the hook on this side. You are going to chain 2. No matter which way you attach your yarn, you're going to chain 2. If you're doing loops across, then you need to bring your yarn to the front, hook into the corner, and pull through, and you're going to look like this, and it's going to have this gap with just the chain attaching. It's what you want. I hope that's not too confusing. Sometimes I feel like I get confusing when I try to explain it. Sometimes I feel like I'm over explaining, and then I go back and edit and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm missing so much. I'm just gonna pull this up, because see, there's our straight. I'm gonna pull this up so I can see. And yes, I've got my strap on the way I want it to. Phew. Okay. You could now cut this and do your thing. I'm going to actually, I want to pay attention. I don't have anything to mark it with right now. So I'm just going to kind of count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think that's what I'm going to do is match up. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. I want to I'm going to do single crochets to here, then I'm going to single crochet to attach these together, go around the corner and go around the bottom. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to, I already did one chain because I was going to cut it off, and then I remembered I wanted to do this. So these are the ones that now I'm seeing the bottom of. So I'm just going to go in the bottom of each of those stitches, because those are the ones that are standing vertical from the direction I'm looking. But this one here is standing horizontal, so I'm actually just going to go in next to my post and do, I think I just want to do one stitch there, and then one stitch in this little hole-like area. No? Yeah, in the whole area. So this is what I do while I'm doing things. I like kind of guess, and then I'm going to do one stitch in the bottom of one of these posts, one stitch in the next one, and then I'm on the side, so I'm going to go one in between, under the post, one in the space of that chain hole space, and then one at the bottom, or in the bottoms of these, and one in the bottom of this. Now that should make it so that I'm right where I need to attach these. So this time when I go in, I'm also going to go in over here and attach both of them. And I'm going to basically just kind of figure out where I want to put in, whether it looks like it's at a post or a thing, but I want 2 stitches per square, however I can fit them in there, because your squares may not line up with each other. It may be that you have posts and posts lined up together, and then that's easy, you just go on the bottom of each one. Or it may be that you have like one side's got the vertical posts and the other side's got the horizontal posts, and you're having to just kind of guess. So the idea is to get 2 stitches for every square, for every row of these. Looks like mine are kind of lining up horizontal with horizontal. Okay, get into the corner here. So I'm going to put 3 stitches in the corner to go around here, and I'm going to work over this yarn. Before I keep working across there, I'm going to just kind of show you. Got it sewed on. Like I said, you don't have to do that if you didn't want to. One thing that could happen if I wanted it to is I could do single crochets along the straps, make them wider, put a single crochet along there if I wanted to. If you had made this a full thing so it was all the way up here, you could have put a single crochet around the whole thing. But I'm just going to leave this, but I'm going to close this off at the bottom here. Again, working 2 stitches across. So when I went around and did 3 in the corner, that 3rd stitch in the corner counts as my first stitch for the square. So I need to do one more stitch in this to finish that first square. And then I will do 2 more, 2 more, 2 more, 2 more, 2 more across. Even will make it so that it's 2 in every single one. If you do an odd number, then this last one's going to be folded in half and you'll just have 1 in that square. So I'm just going to cut that off, and that's going to be my finished product. So it is a little snug, but like I said, yarn stretches. If you didn't want it to be snug, that snug, you would just put another, another square or 2 in to loosen it up. But that's, I gotta tie this in. Cut this off. I don't have scissors with me right now. I do not know. Oh wait, I do have scissors. I have a sewing basket right next to me. That's so silly. I'm such a silly girl sometimes. Okay, I'm gonna redo this one. I'm going to make my knot thing, which is just a chain that instead of finishing, you pull it out and then it becomes a knot. And then I can cut this one off, and I'm going to put my ends in my recycle that I use for stuffing in my gnomes. And then I found a needle. I don't love plastic needles, but this is what I have with me right now. I prefer metal needles. I really love the needles that Jada and Stitches recommends. I found them in the knitting section of craft stores. Hobby Lobby is where I found them. Versus Crochet, like, so I would never saw them before because they were in the knitting, and they have the metal, and then they have a little loop on the end. Those definitely are nice. So I'm just going to go here, and I want to go in the middle of the bottom of these single crochets across here. Oh, by the way, if you do not know how to do a single crochet, iCards. Check the iCards. Put that up in there for you. And I'm just going to go all the way across. I'm going to tug this just a tiny bit, cut it, and then straighten it back out, and then that's just going to pull the end in underneath. Again, stuffing. And so there it is. Although it looks a little funny down here, it's because this got stretched out when I put the thing, but this isn't stretched out, but it will be perfectly fine once I slide my phone in there. And I've got myself a case now that I can wear across my body when I don't have pockets in my pants, because that drives me crazy. Like I said, if you would prefer, you could do 2 ties and have it something you just tie around your waist. You could make a belt loop on the back here, which would just basically be a loop of however wide you wanted it, sewed into both ends. So both ends down, and then you could put a belt through it. You could make shorter straps, longer straps. Lots of options here. So, there you have it. Isn't that exciting? I'm really excited about this. I want to, first of all, remind you, yarn does stretch, so this is going to have a lot of stretch. And with this in it, it's going to stretch. So, it's probably better to go a little, like an inch or 2 shorter than what you would want it to actually hang at. Thought I would show you guys that despite it being a little bit tight, once it's been in once or twice, it just easily slides right back in. Okay, we're finished. And because I forgot to do my outro while I still had my camera stuff set up, I'm here. Finished object, wearing it. Loving it. I think this, I've had these in the past, but I didn't have like the color that I had it, so I stopped wearing it. I have this one now. We'll see how I do with this color and how much I wear it or not wear it. We'll see. I do love the color though. Remember to let your light shine through your creations, and let me know if you make this. And if you are on Instagram, be sure to tag me. I'll put my Instagram tag up here, and it's always linked down below, or linked. Is it linked? I think I have the link. I might have the link. If not, the information's down below. I will see you guys next week with another tutorial. Bye!